Everybody. Well, hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties this time. So we're going to give, yeah, let's cross our fingers. So we're going to give it a minute for people to jump on. And we're going to, while we're waiting, I'm just going to make a trip over to Facebook and just make sure that we are indeed live where I think we're live. We do have a topic of conversation today. And look at that. That's awesome. Okay. So the topic for today was, the question was, how to deal with the client that doesn't get their dog the medical help it needs. All right. And this can be a rather open-ended question. All right. So we're going to start off with minor stuff. Okay. And not even minor stuff. If you as a professional think that this pet needs veterinarian intervention, all right, the way I would always phrase it would be, I need vet clearance before I can groom this pet again.
That's exactly what I say too. I may have gotten it from you.
Yeah. I get vet clearance, and then we can groom the dog. Okay, so there's the link. So which link are you looking for? Because what you're seeing, this is it. So it's not
probably the one on YouTube.
Yeah, it's not. No, she says Facebook user. So I'm gonna go check to see where. It's probably the group. And it's Chris is looking for the link. That's who's looking for the link. Hold on a second, Chris. I will get it for you.
Bookmark it.
Bookmark it, Chris. Bookmark it.
Favorites bar.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to reply. Replying. There we go. There we go, Chris. So anyway, so that is my general go-to if I really don't want to see this pet unless it's been seen by a vet. All right. What about if the owner is not going to take the pet to the vet? You know that. Okay. I think sometimes okay. I'm going to let you answer it first. Go ahead. Hi, Chris.
I was getting echoey.
All right, Angie, how would you answer that? I'll start with you. They're not going to take him to the vet.
After I told them I need vet clearance to groom it?
Yeah.
I don't book another appointment until they do.
Okay.
That's our hard rule because we've had those. And I'm sorry, for insurance purposes, I cannot continue to groom this dog until you go to the vet. Hard rule.
All right.
Until you bring me a note saying that from the vet saying I can groom this dog, and whatever it is, issue has been addressed.
Okay. So there might be some people, I'm going to lose this customer.
Okay.
You're losing liability is what you're losing.
Okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
What you're losing is a potential other bill.
Yeah. And I assure you, a $100 groom is not outweighing the possible $2,000 vet bill. Thank you. No. Yes, I do that with tumors not little tumors, but ones that impede their gait or have become intrusive, and bad teeth. Yes, because the dog is in so much pain, I can't possibly groom it safely. And in order to I have to touch their face. I can't not wash their head. That's not a thing. And haircut dogs, I have to be able to comb their face and brush their face and scissor their face. In order to do that safely and properly, I have to be able to touch it. So if this is not seen to, then I can't. I don't feel safe doing that. And to date, hasn't been an issue. They go to the vet, and I write up vet ref cards. And every time they come in, and after the third vet ref card, okay, I'm not booking you again. Yeah, that many years ago, I had a poodle whose teeth were so bad, he shook his head and the tooth went zinging across the room. And so I went and found it, and I gave it to the owner, and she said I hit the dog, and that's why the tooth fell out. It was green and brown.
Not just that, but there was something a while ago regarding a dog's jaw being broken. And they kept saying, "Oh, the groomer must have hit the groomer." So I was talking about that with a friend of mine and saying, "What do you want to bet? That dog had such bad periodontal disease that the jaw just broke because it was so fragile." And I've heard of this happening, and my groomer friend went, "Oh my God, that happened to me. That happened to one of my clients." And she was fortunate because she had just been talking about that with her client. And the client knew, and it happened either right after the groom, but at home. But that does happen. Periodontal disease, the teeth can get so bad, it spreads to the jaw. The jaw, just gentle, like you go like this, or you're holding it by the chinny chin chin, as we do, and the dog goes, "Ow," and it snaps.
Snap.
Just like when little old humans, they don't fall and break a hip. They break a hip and fall.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly. That's why Erin said she's so glad they have cameras. And that's why my entire salon is covered in cameras from every angle. I mean, I have 2 in the grooming room alone. For that reason, to cover my butt, because the liability is just too great. It is just too great. And I've got a waiting list with 150 people on it. I lose one customer because and I take photos of everything. Anytime a vet ref card is written out, I have photographs, and I have a folder on my computer going all the way back to when I got a cell phone in 2011. And I date it and I put the dog's name. So I've got photos of some really unbelievably horrific things over the years. But it covers my butt.
Yeah, back when I worked in the shop, I was grooming a Tibetan Terrier that was in bad shape. And as I'm basically peeling the coat off of the dog, there were sores underneath. And I grabbed the store manager. And this is before cell phones. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
So the camera we had was a Polaroid.
Yep. The first salon I worked at, we had the Polaroid up front for those grooms.
And, we took Polaroids of it and told the owner to come pick up the dog. And it was kind of borderline. It was up to the store manager to make the call at the time on whether or not we were going to call animal control because this was bad. The only issue, though, with calling animal control is the owners are going to turn around and say, the animal control said, well, they're getting care now.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the best you could do at that point is note it down. And then if you don't see them like in 4, 5, 6 months, request animal control to do a wellness check.
Yeah.
So there's options and then there's no options. The best we can do is protect ourselves, right? And make sure we're documenting and not taking in sick pets. Right? Sick pets are just not dogs that have bad teeth. These are dogs or cats that are coming in and they don't look well. They're lethargic. All right. They're just like not really necessarily focused on anything. This is not a sick dog. You don't know if the dog is sick because it has something contagious and you're bringing that into your facility. All right. I will scream this from the rooftop. Check gum color on every single dog before you groom it. Every
Chris
single dog. And I know Angie's going to tell a story on what, listening to my advice, what that happened. But you know what? Gum color is the best overall indicator of underlying health. And if those gums are not nice and healthy pink, there's something going on with this pet. And do you really want the liability? All right. Because once there's a social media backlash, the damage is done. Even if you're cleared, the damage is done. So Angie, let's hear that personal piece of advice I gave you.
So many years ago, I took Mary's CPR class. And at the time, I did check the gum color on senior pets just because that was, I don't remember how that got to be part of the thing. And so I always check the seniors because they're old and, But Mary said, no, you check every dog. And I never did that. I checked the old ones. So one of my regular Dobermans came in. She was like a year and a half at the time, maybe a little bit younger. And she was like, woo, I'm at the salon. She loves her groom. And so I was like, all right, well, we're doing the whole thing. And I lifted her lip up to check her gums. This is maybe 2 weeks after the class. And holy cow, her gums were bright red. Like, I don't even have anything red enough. I like more bright red than that. And I was like, oh my God, where has she been? What has she been eating? Well, she was down at my neighbor's barn last night. And, we were hanging out talking to him. And I said, you need to get her to the vet right now. Like right this second. And why? What's going on? I'm like, her gums are bright red. I'll call the vet. I'll tell him you're on the way. And she's like, well, is she going to die? And I was like, it's possible if you don't take her to the vet. She got there. She had ingested rat poison. If I hadn't looked at that gum color, the vet said, yeah, it's very likely she could have died because she had eaten it the night before.
Mm-hmm. So it was already all through the bloodstream.
Yeah, she could have died. And the dog seemed fine at drop off. She was her crazy, happy, yay self. And
being devil's advocate, how do you check the bitey ones? With caution.
Yeah. You don't have to stick your,
technically you're sticking your fingers in their mouth, but yeah.
You can just pull it up from the side. It's pretty much the exact same way that you do the face on a bitey one. I mean, how many standard poodles do you?
Chris has got a dog handy to check.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. You just go.
Now,
boop.
If this dog had lips, which is why he's in my office and not working as a CPR dog, you just kind of lift up the lip a little bit, and you can do one of these. You can do one of okay.
And you know what? You can visually check it as they're trying to bite you.
Yeah.
So you know what? Just keep your and as they're lunging, take a look at those gums.
And I've had 2 seniors in my career with white gums.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Pale white. And one of them was a bitey little booger. And I saw how white his gums were when I went to check his gums and he tried to bite me. And I said, he's going right to the vet. Yeah. And he did. And he passed away at the vet. The other one lived for maybe another month.
You don't want the pet to die in your care. All right.
No, I don't want to be the salon that had a dead dog. No,
you don't want to, and on the senior dogs, I will check gum color throughout the groom. So maybe every 20 minutes, I'll just take a peek at the gum color because, the senior dogs or dogs that I know have chronic medical conditions. Okay.
Diabetic.
A diabetic. All right. We'll go and I will check. And like every 15, 20 minutes, I'll just take a peek, make sure we're still good.
Because
Yeah, it's just a cover your butt kind of thing.
and it's not just that. Cold running your business wise, just strictly running numbers, running the business. You don't want to be the salon that had the dog die. You don't want to deal with the social media backlash. But also, honestly, you just don't want to have to deal with that emotional trauma. That's
No,
that's
scarring.
a hard burden, because even if you logically say it happens, and you were the gum color was fine when they went in, but it was a senior pet and things went down. Even if you know in your head this dog died of completely natural causes, there was nothing I could have done, you're going to live with that, having to see that all of your life. You're going to live with having to tell the pet parent all of your life. So that's not worth the, even if you do it throughout and it adds up to an entire minute, it's not worth it. Not worth saving that little bit of time.
No, it doesn't take that much time. It's like seconds. Literally seconds. And
I have gone to, being as I specialize in the senior pets. There was many times I would have gone to a pet's house to look at the gums and saying, no groom for you today. And on more than one occasion, I knew I was not going to see that dog again. I can't. He's not up to it. When's his next vet appointment? Because honestly, I think it ought to be today.
yeah. And it's really not hard to insist that someone get their pet treated. And that's what we do. We do the 3 strikes rule with the vet ref cards. There you go. And then I make note of it in their file, that vet ref card, this date. They get a second vet ref card for the same issue. They get a third vet ref card for the same issue. And then when that gets handed to them, they are told, I'm sorry, I cannot see him again until I have vet clearance to groom him, because it's gotten to the point where it is not safe for me to groom him in this condition without a vet saying that it's okay. And that usually lights the fire. Granted, not always. And yes, I have lost some customers over that. However, God bless whatever groomer ended up with them, because the liability is just not worth it. I don't want a $2,000 vet bill for their negligence. I don't.
And not just that. It's not just that. The client you lost expressed very clearly to you that they don't value your input as a professional.
Right.
They don't value your knowledge and expertise into a thing you say. That's
Right.
the client you just got rid of. That they don't trust you. And when we're talking about social media backlash and all the BS groomers get when we get blamed for things, we do have to remember that there is a certain amount of trust. They are leaving a family member in our care. So if they don't trust us on something simple, like we're telling them, we are concerned for your pet, we are concerned for your family member, and this needs to be taken care of, they don't want to listen to us for that. They're not going to listen to us when we say and try to explain whatever just happened, because something's clearly going to happen. Even if it's not that, even if it's something as simple as, no, seriously, the dog had to be shaved. They're not going to believe that, because why would they? they've established their pattern of not trusting us.
Good point. All right, Barb puts it, I think we need to take the vet release one step further. The vet needs to okay it, but there needs to be another release spelling out the risks of grooming. I work part-time in a vet clinic. I have refused to groom dogs that the vet there said would be okay. They don't understand. That's a really good point. So I think when we have this, you know what? I think we ought to have a form, a specific form that's saying, you need the vet to sign this and state on the form why you feel you can't groom this pet, and then let the vet take it from there.
I usually call the
Dog
vet.
had a heart attack on my table. That was bingo. If anyone's taken my pet first aid classes, you know the story. All right. Bingo had a heart condition, and Bingo was cleared for grooming, and Bingo had a heart attack on my table, and he died.
I still want to say, was his name-o?
What was that?
I still wanted to say, was his name-o, after every time you said bingo, and I made a face because you're telling this very important, poignant story, and on my head is,
It was okay. Bingo had two N's in there. Okay. Barbara also says luxating patellas also come to mind, but the dog can be groomed, but one wrong move and the knee is blown. Oh yeah. Luxating patellas are fun. I have personally have had my Shepherd Malamute, my Biggo, which is not usual in big dogs, but she had a luxating patella. And every so once in a while, she'd come up and she'd be limping because she blew it out. And I would never do this to a client's dog, but my own dog, I put her leg back in. And the first time you do it, it's the grossest thing you have ever done in your life. And then the fourth or the fifth time you do it for them, it's like, put it back in.
So what I usually do is after I give the third vet ref card, when I hand it to the owner and tell them I need to vet check, I always say, I'll call the vet now. So that way they know everything that's going on from the grooming perspective.
Okay. That's another option.
Well, it kind of lights the fire under the butt too, because, you're going to, well, no, I can call them. Well, yes, but I can explain to them from my perspective why I need the release and what I need it for.
Did we talk about the pet that I actually took to the vet myself once? Did we talk about that? I want to say we did.
We might have talked about it on the podcast.
On the podcast. This is we have different listeners. So there's this dog that I've been grooming for well over 10 years now. Gotta be, because I've groomed this dog at so many different places, and they were so happy when I went house call because they're like, you needed to be out on your own. But the owners it's a widow by now. It was a couple, so it's a little old man owns the dog, and once or twice before they had postponed the dog's appointment. I think it was just once before, because it was her time of the month, and this was a elderly man who really didn't want to tell me his dog had a period and was embarrassed that there was blood all over the dog. And so, okay. And I'm thinking, how bad can it heat be? Because it's usually not. It's a couple drops of blood, whatever. We see this stuff all the time. And it's house call. I'll just do them last. So the second time he tried to do that, I went, you know what? Let me come. It's just a season. And they said they had taken the dog to the vet last time afterwards because, she seemed to be bleeding a lot. And the vet said couldn't find anything wrong with her. So I got there, and guys, it looked like there was a crime scene. There was blood, just like smushed things of like blood all. They're trying to like they just are cleaning up behind her, and I'm like, oh, this isn't right. This is something's not. Her entire rear end was bloody. I'm like, all right, let me at least. I gotta put her in the tub, see what's going on. Just I gotta see what. I put her in the tub. I put some water. It was stuff caked. Things were outside of her that should not have been outside of her. And I'm like, this isn't right. She's got to go to the vet now. I don't know what to do. My son just left already. I don't know. I'll take her to the vet. I'll take her to here. Is this place good? All right with you? Oh, I usually go here. And I know the local vet, so I hadn't heard great things about that one. I'm like, I'll take you to this local vet because they're an emergency place and they'll be open. Okay. Okay. Yes, the dog had a prolapsed uterus because she had never been fixed. And apparently this had happened before, and maybe it was a minor prolapse, but then it just went back in. So by the time they took it to the vet, it had gone back in. So they were like, oh, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, she had surgery that either that night or the next morning, but she stayed in the vet for a few days. Yeah.
Okay, so we're coming up on our half hour. Anything else if anybody wants to add real quick? So we'll finish up with next weekend, Sunday, Monday to be precise, is the first summit of the year, the Neurodiversity Summit. Angie's got a class she's teaching there, by the way. We have some really great speakers, and not all most within the pet industry, but we've got a couple outside of the pet industry who will give their perspective on neurodiversity.
And I upgraded my membership so I can watch those recordings during the week and listen to that while I'm grooming. Ha ha.
I did too, for that very reason.
6 weeks, Chris. You got 6 weeks to watch each summit.
I think I can do that.
Okie doke. All right. So we'll see everybody next week then.
And I bookmarked it.
Okay. You know what? We're going to talk to you when we get off of here about setting alarms for things you need to do.
I did have an alarm, but the bathroom, because I have to run to the bathroom before I walk out of the house, walk all the way around to my office and get there. Yeah, I set an alarm.
All right. Maybe set the alarm a little earlier.
We will talk. Things happened.
Okay.
You will understand.
Okay. We'll see everybody next week.